All right. We're going to do best bets for Wolves and Thunder game 4. But before we do that, I have to tell you about Underdog. Underdog is one of the best places to make picks during playoff basketball. While they score buckets, you can score cash. Underdog is one of the leading sports apps, and you can play right now in your state. Their app has over 100,000 five-star reviews and millions of players. To play, all you have to do is download the app and choose whether a player will go higher or lower on one of their stats. You can choose from things like points, assists, and so much more. Once your pick feels good, you can play with as little as $1. If you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. It's time for the Underdog Get Buckets lineup. We have two versions. We have the Dog at Him, which is our rebound, steals, and blocks, and we have Get Buckets. And for Wolves and Thunder, we're definitely looking to get buckets. We're going to do J-Dub 4.5 assists higher. That is the Action Network official stat of the NBA playoffs. We love it. Nas 11.5 points higher. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander 1.5 threes higher. You'll hear more about that in a minute. And Mike Conley 1.5 threes higher. Mike went higher than this in game 2 or game 3. I think that Mike's going to play more because they die without him. So I like that spot as well. I think this is going to be more of a high scoring affair in this one for a number of reasons that we'll talk about. So that's going to be the lineup. J-Dub 4.5 assists higher. Nas 11.5 points higher. Shai 1.5 threes higher. Mike Conley 1.5 threes higher. You get all 4 of those right, 5.46 times your money. But if we only get 3 right, we still get 1.5 times our money. Download the Underdog app and sign up with promo code BUCKETS100 to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. That's promo code BUCKETS100. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. And without further ado, let's get the best bets for Wolves Thunder game 4. Jim Turvey, you're up. What do you like in game 4?
Got Chet under 8.5 rebounds. I've got Naz Reid 15 plus points.
Joe Delera, what do you like?
I've got Shai over 1.5 threes.
Woof. Woof. Wait, we're gonna have to talk about that one. I'm on Thunder, going back to the well. I've missed every game so far. I can't not miss. I'm gonna see if I can miss every game in this series. It's gonna be absolutely incredible. I'm on Thunder over. I like it in this game. I'm gonna bet overtime. And thanks to Jim Turvey, I'm gonna bet either team to win within 5 points plus 185 in the market. Shop around to get the best price on that. Matt going 0-4 would be cinema. I don't know if it'd be cinema, Antonio. It'd be more like a Netflix romantic comedy because there's a million of them. Just every week, another me going 0-4 jumping out there.
Don't listen to Matt. Go check Matt's ROI this postseason. It's been pretty nice.
Just bet overtime every game and you're good.
Yeah. Overtime. All right, let's talk. Let's do the Shays thing. Let's get this out the way.
All right.
Give me the.
I love this. I'm. By the way, I'm seconding this play from Joe. I've already bet it, and I love.
I'll make the other side of it. Go for it.
So the big thing here for me was what I was perusing X as you do. I was locked out of my account for a couple days, and I felt like a crack addict needing to get back on Twitter. And I was like, all right, let me get back here, right? So now I'm spending a little bit of extra time, and I came across this tweet from Nikias, and he tweeted basically that there was a big like shift in terms of what Minnesota was doing to cover Shai, and in the game 3, Minnesota went under on 7 Shai pick and rolls. They went under on 8 combined in the first 2 games, and this has kind of been part of their scheme over the past couple of games, and we've seen this progress. In games 1 and 2, they were picking up Shai at basically like 45 feet. And then in game 3, it was 35 feet in terms of like the average distance against him and where they were spaced on the floor. I think, to me, the shift is they're trying to pack the paint a little bit. They're trying to drop a little bit on him and say, like, look, we don't want you to get to the rim. Beat us some other way. We don't want you to get to the rim. Shai went over this line last game in relatively minimal minutes. He only played 27 minutes because of the blowout. And he was 2 for 5 from 3-point range. 5 shots, not a huge sample size, but to me, it's a little bit more about the type of shot. So if he's going to be left relatively open because they'd rather him shoot this shot, I think that's something that he's going to try to take advantage of. This is going to be something that pops in the tape for sure, that they're going under on screens as opposed to trying to stay like with him and fight through some of those screens. So I think this is a good opportunity for Shai to maybe get some opportunities or extra opportunities around the 3-point line, because the number one way, it's not like he's a bad 3-point shooter. We saw him do this pretty well, like over this line in 60% of games over the course of the regular season. I just think that the coverage that Minnesota is going to be throwing at him is one where they say, shoot some threes against us because we don't want you getting into the paint with some dribble penetration.
Okay, so this is fascinating. You're absolutely right about everything that you just said. Joe's 100% on the money with everything that he said from a tactical strategic standpoint. The goal is they did their high pickups in games 1 and 2. And it was very, like, again, there was so much shit in game 1 and 2 that I was like, Finch, What are you doing? What you doing, buddy? Where's the awesome coach that I love to bet on every night in the playoffs? And the game plan and execution, everything, the messaging, everything was horrible. And game 3 was exactly what I expected in the series, which is why I took them +2.5 on the series spread. Gobert drops into a high drop, not a deep drop. If you do that and you're dead. It's a high drop. You about, I don't know, a step or two above the free throw line. The defender either goes under or lock and trail over. But what you're trying to get to is you want to get him into the high mid range and then bring a defender over the top from the above the break, because that cuts off the one pass passing lane. They moved all of their help defenders more aggressive to squeeze, but they also moved them. I watched this today. They moved them up so that Shai didn't have the easy, oh, okay, you're going to come over help. I'm just going to kick it to J-Dub. J-Dub's going to shoot a 3. None of that. We're going to screw with your passing lane, and we're going to get you into this tight little box, and you're going to have to make contested jumpers with 4 of us around you. It's very smart, and it's very good, and it's exactly what you want to do to Shai. The one counter to that is exactly what Joe Delaire mentioned, which is the 3-point attempts. So, regular season, he shot 37.5% from 3-point range. If he gets up 5 attempts again, and if he goes, that's already 1.9, right? An average of 1.9. He's already over this 1.5 threes mark. If he gets more because he didn't play enough minutes and this goes to 7 and he just shoots his season average on him, then you're in a good spot. In the playoffs, however, he's shooting 29%. And that's the problem here, is that Shai does not want to shoot these things, man. Like, it's just not a comfort shot for him. So that's why I don't know about it. Like, I love it from, all right, they're going to do this. So what's he going to do? I'm just a little worried that Shai might be like, I don't want to just take what you're giving me. I'm going to force you into a position where you're not able, where I'm going to still get to the spots that I want. The counter for that is probably running more side, empty side pick and roll. Because what he really wants to do is he really wants to get that baseline shot. He's a murderer on both baselines. Joe will be back in just a second. So go ahead, jump in here, Jim.
Well, I'm just curious, and I'm bummed Joe had to drop for a second. Well, I want to ask him about when he gets back. I wonder if the way to attack this, I quickly looked and couldn't find it. So if anyone out there is able to find it, let me know. I wonder if the way to kind of like, because I agree with you that if he misses like 2, he's done. Like we've seen him before. Like the confidence in that shot isn't there. I wonder if it's much better to do over 2 threes at a significant plus money in the first half, where like if he is, it's almost like a snowball effect, where if he hits his first one, he's going to take another one, and suddenly they're going to have to adjust in the second half, and then it's, it stalls out at halftime anyways. I think you want to front load this bet. I couldn't find a place that had either first quarter or first half threes, but I would rather get the plus money on those to start the game, because I think it was such a successful look that they'll roll it out to start the game. Shea's going to take, he'll start with it. These guys always are like, I'll start here and see if I make it. And if he misses a few, I think it could stop. And if he makes a few, I think it could be that Minnesota adjusts back to some other defensive scheme. I think you want to front load this bet either way and either just rip off the Band-Aid, get it like plus money a little bit more. But I think it's really going to be like a first half type bet. In the comments. Yeah. If you see the first half threes, let me know. But what do you think about that, Matt, in terms of kind of trying to target it towards the first half or like kind of that snowballing effect?
Is there any chance that he goes under his first quarter points line if he hits 2 plus 3s first quarter? Is there any chance
he goes under because you're seeing the 8.5 or whatever?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't hate that. I like the plus. I wanted to get plus money too, because it's like whenever I'm not 100% sure on something, but it like has a higher ceiling, I want to, my next best bet we'll talk about, I want to get that plus money on the like there's I want to get towards this part of the tail where I think it's not evenly distributed, because it could almost snowball where if he hits one, he's taking a second one, he's taking a third one, and now he's like, it's snowballing up instead of, just kind of a standard, spread that you would expect with normal tails for a bet like that.
I'm back.
Joe's back. Joe, the question we're kind of debating is first quarter points, since we can't find first half threes, because Jim's idea is if he misses his first two and it's like, this is not working, he might not go back to it, but if he does, he'll keep shooting him, and so there's an escalator or better value in the first half kind of proposition. What do you think?
I think that's fair. His first quarter points line is at 8.5. I do think, if correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like his rotation has been a little bit odd lately. Like he had normally been playing or I guess no, it's just that there's a couple of games that maybe stood out, but I'm trying to see. I thought over his past, no, it was just it was in the Denver series that he wasn't playing the full first quarter for some like random reason in games. I guess what is that? 4, 5, and 6. But he's back to playing the full first quarter. I don't know. I didn't think too much about it. He hasn't made a first quarter 3 yet.
Oh, that's interesting.
Actually. So
I want to know the attempts on it. Do you see the attempts there or no?
I'm gonna check. He took 1 last game, none in game 2, and 2 in game 1.
The game one's the most interesting because I think he did take 4 for the game.
Yeah, so I don't have a first quarter 3s line that I'm looking at.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there is one, to be honest. Oh, Matt, I think you're muted, Matt.
Yeah,
I don't think they allow them at all. So if anybody sees them, we'll check in on it, and then we can maybe put it in the app, or we'll talk about it on Buckets pregame tomorrow.
I have one. You know how they have those like race to whatever ones? I wonder if we could do that, where it's like first player to hit the 3.
Oh, they have first field goal, first basket stuff at FanDuel. So you could do like first basket, Shea 3. Let me see if I can find that real quick.
I was trying to look at
the first possession. I can't get there on first possession.
I don't know if I get there, but like I do think I could get it there on the first 3 of the game, like one of those, you know what I mean? Where it's like first player to make a 3.
49-1 is first basket of the game, a Shea 3-pointer.
Okay, not bad. That's pretty good.
That's sick.
Hey, I actually have another one here that's actually interesting. In the market, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander or Anthony Edwards, either player 3-pointers made, 4+ minus 135.
That's pretty good. I mean, it's mostly an ant. I would say it's mostly an ant bet because for 4,
it's you kind of get back.
You're getting a little bit because what's Ant's line is at 3.5 at plus 104. I don't know if I could get there on the optionality being worth 50 cents. When I think
I think you lose 50 cents.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'd rather just bet Ant, I think. Because I mean, if Shea gets 4 and that was the way that I won this bet, I would lose it when I could have just bet 4+ at like plus 700 probably.
Well, if you want to go that route, let's get more aggressive. How about this? Shea and Ant, both players to make 3+3s is plus 360.
Oh, that's fun.
That's
I could
more
get there. I
interesting
could
to
get
me,
there.
yeah.
I could get there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Ant's floor is just so high
Yeah.
Yeah.
with the volume.
All right, let's do some more best bets. Let's go to Jim Turvey and let's talk about Chet Holmgren under 8.5 rebounds.
Yeah, so he hasn't cleared this series. A couple games haven't even come close. He's got 7, 4, and 5 in the 3 games. In the regular season against the Wolves, he had 12 one game, 4 the other, but the 12 was a game where Gobert didn't play. So I think that's pretty notable. Wolves shooters are going to be better at home. We've seen that throughout the postseason. This is like the classic team with shooters better at home, so less rebounds for, especially those 3-point shooters. Those are rebound opportunities, less of those at home for OKC. So I was eyeing one of these rebounders on OKC to go under on their rebounds. Chet popped multiple ways with when going from the home team angle and going with the matchup angle with him on the numbers this year. For the series as a whole, he's not getting a lot of chances. Even it's not like he's getting unlucky on them, but he's also collecting a low percentage of them. He's only getting about 40%. I think that has to do with the matchup there. So it's kind of one of those where it's both ways. He's not getting a lot of rebound chances and he's not collecting many of those rebound chances. So I think this is a matchup one right here. We're still getting the 8.5. That's kind of based. It's like a matchup proof number. I think it should be one lower. So I would take this under 8.5 rebounds for Chet.
I keep waiting for him to have like a monster rebounding game because he's just so
He
long.
was so good against Denver. Yeah. I mean, he had double digits a lot, but this matchup does not seem to work well for him.
It really doesn't, which is, I think, pretty interesting. I'll talk Thunder real quickly. Look, I was on Thunder in game 3. I'll be back on them in game 4. I just disagree with the number I am in, and I'm unable to get to the number on where this is at in the market. I make this 3.4, and there's a 3 in the market, and that's good enough for me. Now 3.5 is a pass. If this moves to 3.5, I will not be on it. But at 3, it's still a half point of value, and I think that's good enough for me. I like overtime. If I'm projecting this to be within or right around a possession, and I do expect this to be, the Wolves will play a little bit worse. The Thunder will play a little bit better. The Wolves won't be as bad as games 1 and 2. The Thunder won't be as bad as game 3, nor as good as they were in game 1. To me, this is like we are headed towards a clutch game. And I would be very surprised if the series was entirely made up of comfortable double-digit wins. I wouldn't be shocked. It could definitely happen. But I do think that the variance of game 3 between game 3 and game 2 and game 1, we've seen this with OKC as well. They don't blow teams out on the road, but they do win on the road, and they win close. So I'm going to grab 5+ as a hedge against overtime as well, because I think that there's a good chance that this one goes down to the wire. And this could be a classic game, or it could be like a really ugly game and we're still going to be within range. It could be like an absolute just slugfest, nobody can hit anything game. That seems likely too. Like OKC is going to play much harder. They're going to be way more physical. The voodoo that they cause to make you miss threes is going to be in effect. I don't expect Minnesota to shoot as well, but they'll shoot better than they did in 1 and 2. So I like all those angles for game 4. I also am on the over, though, because I do think that this is going to be a pretty offensive game. I think that you're going to see both teams running at each other pretty fast. I think this is going to be a high-intensity game, a lot of transition stuff, and pretty good efficiency overall. I think the turnovers will go back up for Minnesota, and OKC will get more points off of turnovers, etc. So I'm going to be on the over. I'm going against my market number on this. I do have this as an under, but I'm going to go over on this particular spot for game 4. We'll get to your comments. If you have bets that you want to ask about, put them in the chat and we'll talk about them here at the end of the show. Let's wrap up with Jim Turvey. Nas, 15+ points. Give me the cap.
Yeah, so his base here is 10.5 or 11.5, and I don't mind that, but I'm making the best bet 15+ because I think with Nas, we had the conversation with Shea as well. There's a lot of players in the postseason where it kind of snowballs. I'm not sure that they have these priced to accurately represent how much. If Naz Reid hits his first shot, he's A, more confident to take the second shot, B, more likely to stay on the court when Finch is deciding, a few extra minutes here and there. And so for Naz, this is this prop has kind of been disguised by a few factors. So the first 2 games in OKC, he was 0 for 12 from 3. Now, regardless of what you think, maybe he's like, on the road, not going to make a ton, but like 0 for 12 is not going to be sustainable. Even if it's 2 for 12, his average is suddenly right around 10 points where this is. If he goes 3 for 12, which is still only 25%, he's averaging above this line. So that's kind of dragging down the points per game from that side. And then last game, his minutes were eaten into because of the blowout. He got to 10 points, but he did in about 18 minutes. He's going to get a full run, especially if he's making his shots. He made a couple of threes last game. And so the ceiling here, I think, is what I want, because there is a world in which, he misses the first one, doesn't have the confidence to take another, or it spirals and, he's just not shooting well. And that we're sitting around that 6-7 point range where it's not even like close to the 10.5. I want to go up to the 15 plus. I like 15 plus for a 3-point shooter like Nas. There's nice ways to get there. So I'm going to go with the 15 plus. You can get it plus 235. I even like sprinkling the 20 plus. He hasn't gotten there since the first game of the postseason, but you can get it plus 850. I really do think this could be a Nas Reed game. I think that the numbers are sitting there that like the OKC is going to challenge him to shoot threes. He got up 12 threes in the first 2 games. Now that he's at home, if they're going to challenge him to take 6 threes in a game, I could easily see him hitting half of those and getting, up near 20 points. So I like the 15 plus at plus 235 and then 20 plus at plus 850.
I like this so much. I'm not going to bet it to not mush you. That's how much I like it. That's excellent.
It's great.
Our parlay we've got for tonight, because following in kind of the model of what I've talked about, we're going to do Mike Conley 2+ made threes. They have, I think Finch has figured out, hey, I got to play. I don't care how it looks. I got to play Conley. Our offense is just not organized enough without him. Mm-hmm. The Thunder will help off of him. The Thunder will leave him open. And Mike Conley is like the only dude I trust to be able to counter the voodoo of OKC and knock down shots. So Mike Conley 2+ made threes over 218.5. I made the case for it. I think we're going to see this. Then we're going to do a star battle here. Shea 30+ points, Ant 30+ points. No 40s, no 35s. Not getting crazy. We're just going to do 30+. It's going to be a battle between the 2 stars in Game 4. I could be a classic. That's what we're rooting for here on many ways. Shea 30+, Ant 30+, over 218.5, and Mike Conley 2+ made threes, plus 630 on a 4-legger in the market. You can track that at Parlay Express and the Action Network app. Go follow that account. It's got lots of fun bets there for you as well. Riley Lopez has one. Well, we're going to do that. We'll get that in just a second. I do want to talk title briefly before we do. I'm actually going to start titling our community bets here as the open run, where you guys can get your bets in and we'll talk about them. Jim, I'm going to let you speak your piece here, and you'll have your chance to do it again if the series wind up as they are currently favored and projected to. Why are the Pacers winning the title? They are currently there's a plus 500 and a plus 550 in the market for the Pacers.
Yeah, and I do wish this number was a touch longer. I was looking when the Pacers were up like 20 in that game, they were plus 360. So I was thinking that maybe after dropping a game, we get a little bit longer number here. I don't mind the plus 550. But again, this is kind of what I was talking about in the East with fading the Celtics all year was you're going to get chances to do it because the market is so in love with one team. And now the market is so in love with OKC. And I do think there's something to what Joe said about Boston being this team with the shot variance that they are bringing into play as a favorite that maybe you don't want as much. But I still do have some questions about OKC. A lot of it centers around their shooting as well, not how much they do it like Boston. It's more how good the shooters are. Now, the Game 7 against Denver really did prove a lot to me. And I think that answered a few questions to me. But it really just comes down to me that I don't think the gap between OKC and every other team, especially the Pacers, who I see as basically a slightly worse OKC, should be this big of a gap for it to be. Indy's OKC is what, like minus 300 to win it all right now? What's the number on them?
Indy to win it all.
No, OKC.
Oh, OKC currently in the market minus 265 is one number. Yeah.
So that gap to me, and this is not a bet that's going to win every time. It's a plus 550. It's not going to, but it needs to win enough. And I think the argument for you guys is it's just not going to happen. But I do think there are paths to this. I think if we get Indiana OKC is going to have not as good a coach. I'm going to trust them way less in close games. If Indy can keep these games close, I'm really going to like Indiana to get this done. Indiana on the road has been excellent all postseason. They now have, if there's any sort of experience question, they've answered that. I think if you look at, you talked about, so actually I want you to bring up a couple of your points to negate this, but I'll get ahead of one of them, the ball creation. You said ball creation better for OKC. I think that comes from Indiana. Halliburton runs an offense, I think, as well as anyone in the league.
I agree.
The defense is the gap, and OKC definitively has a better defense. But the thing is, Indiana doesn't turn the ball over. They're one of the best teams at not turning it over because of their star player. And I see some slander towards Halliburton in the chat of they don't have a star player. And Halliburton will go missing at times. I promise you, if we get that finals, we will get like a 4-point game from Halliburton. But there'll also be a game where he goes for 18 and 13 and they win. And you don't need to win that many games to make it hedgeable. Although if the market never adjusts and never gets hedgeable. But I really do think that this Indiana team could be OKC. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
So I will say this to your credit. I make the Pacers odds plus 454. So I'm getting a full buck on value here at plus 550 in the market. So I might have to add that position. Now, a lot of that is simply because the difference here is I think this is, you can only bet Thunder or Pacers. Like the market is like the Knicks. And I'm like, no, I only want Pacers or Thunder. My thing is just, I am considerably under on Thunder to beat Pacers because I do make that series. If we gets down to it, I make the Thunder 84% to win. Now, here's a good one to your credit. Okay. If we're talking about game script, the Pacers have won game 1 every time. They've won game 1 in all 3 series, right? They've gone on the road and they've stolen these games. And if they steal game 1 versus the Thunder, that market is going to like go haywire because even though it'll still be like, no, OKC's going to win. There will be a buyback opportunity probably on OK. Like that to me is the question is I'm okay with getting a position in on the Pacers. I do not think this is if you're going to bet one team, bet the Pacers. If you're going to bet one team, bet Oklahoma City to beat the Pacers. If you're going to bet 2 teams, you should bet the Pacers.
What do you make of the coaching gap? Do you think that there's as big a gap as I think?
Yeah,
I have not been super impressed with Dagnall.
Yeah, there's a lot of like people that are unimpressed with Dag. So here's what I would say. Dags has coached from a position of high ground the entire time. He has never lost the high ground really. Like I think that Denver series is pretty impressive, right? Because they go down 2-1 and they dig out of it, but it's not like he made a massive adjustment.
No,
he's just like, and that's going to be what OKC does. OKC's never going to do like what Tibbs did tonight and be like, let's change up our lineup and have the Pacers shoot 5 of 24 from 3. Like they're not going to do that. They're going to just play. They're just going to play how they do. And I think with Dags that he has a good sense. Now he does try different personnel, right? Like him trying out AJ Mitchell in game 3 was not just it's blowout time. I'm going to let the rookie get some time. It was literally, I want to see how this looks. Like we're going to lose this game anyway. I want to see how this looks. He ran out with Kenrich Williams in game 1. And that was a really smart adjustment. He ran out. He's played Isaiah Joe. Like he is willing to kind of manipulate a little bit. I think Dags has done what I think Dags has done honestly the best job of is settling them down. Is that after they got rushed and were panicking and it was the Thunder not clutch after game 3 in Denver, they rattled off 2 straight clutch wins. And it was just like, let's calm down. Yeah. Let's stay
I want to flip the framing a little bit. I do see Antonio in chat. It's not that I hate Dagnall. I actually think Dagnall's like pretty middle of the road. I just think I want the Carlisle part. I think Carlisle like is one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in the league, right? Like he is coaching out of his mind right now.
Yes. So I don't blame you for thinking that they have a coaching advantage. You're absolutely right that they do. I just have a hard time getting to.
You think it's AB instead of AC if we're going with it.
Yeah, and like this is kind of the thing is also just like in terms of the team general, your thing is like you think that the Pacers are a slightly worse OKC, and I'm like, look, the Pacers got the Bucks with Doc Rivers. That's on me for betting the Bucks. I paid for it. They got a Cavs team that both was injured and imploded from a coaching standpoint. Atkinson dropped huge to me. And then they get this Knicks team that, I mean, they belong here, but like,
I know we don't belong being down 1-2.
They are, they are definitely the person that shows up to the black tie affair and like their friend asked them to go out and they thought that it was like just going to hang out. So like they're in a hoodie and jeans and they're like, well, here I am. That's the Knicks a little bit.
I will say if I'm sorry to cut. No, keep going.
No. So I just think that the Thunder are an S tier team. They're the only S tier team left. And the Pacers are probably, I like even give them bottom of the A tier, but that's still, I think, where they are.
I think if I'm steel manning my case, if I'm saying the ways to pick holes in this is that like a team going against a slightly better version of them that's not necessarily a good matchup. That just means they have you covered every single way, which is totally fair. But it also means like a small ankle roll or anything in your life, certainly.
For sure.
The other side of it, just real quickly, I'll just say we are in an era where it seems like every year we get an amazing team versus suddenly like a team that like, wait, how did they make that? And that's the best case against is that everyone all year has been like, outside of Boston, like there's no one in the East. And it might just be, Brandon's been on, like I've given up on the East. It doesn't matter what OKC's walking. That might be the case. What I see with my eyes though, still has doubts about OKC thinking that they are truly in a tier with the gap that the market has baked in. And that's all it was. That's all it was for Boston for me. And I do get how there's differences between OKC and Boston, but this one is more of a gut than like a model that I have or something. It says I have not seen OKC be extraordinarily in their own tier to be priced the way that I see it in the market right now.
The bet you're gonna want in the finals is over on games. That's what you're gonna want.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because like price in, the Thunder are gonna blow them out twice. It's gonna happen. They're gonna blow them out at least twice in that series. Okay, so price that in.
Do you think so? Indy does not strike me as a team to get blown out.
The Thunder blew out Minnesota twice.
Yeah, but Minnesota strikes me as a team to get blown out.
No, man. The Thunder are really good. So yeah, we'll have more to talk about this more than likely, unless Bing Bong catches up with them. Let's do a little open run and get to some bets that people talked about. Spencer. Matt Neesmith rebounds under didn't get there. Are you looking at that angle again for game 4? No, because they're starting to actually, the Knicks have done a very good job of running a double screen set to get Neesmith peeled. And they've also been doing a good job of getting Neesmith into a little bit of foul trouble. Plus you got the ankle injury as well. The ankle injury might be like part of the reason that you might want to play the under on rebounds, right? If you think his ankle's going to be banged up, but he looked fine in the second half. I think if Neesmith isn't banging them, especially with this like Miles McBride running other people actually trying to play serious basketball, I don't like the under rebounds play as much. John Lim's been all over this on our live chat. He says, just blindly bet New York first half, Indy full game, and Indy full first half, New York full game. He's been on this. It's been true for every single game in the series, and it's been one of the best bets in the last 2 rounds of the playoffs that whoever, Evan Abrams was on this, whoever is down at the half covers second half. So you should be like, if you want to play the trends, live bet second half, whoever's down at halftime, and you can get on these. Go ahead, Joe.
They do have some markets out there that are basically like biggest comeback of the game. And a lot of times you can get 5 points or even 10 points at a pretty good number. 5 points seems like nothing, especially during these playoffs. Like it's not as Boston-y where Boston was just blowing New York's doors off, like the one game that they did win. So it is an option if you don't want to lay it in advance, like in that way where you're trying to guess, or if you don't want to have to live bet it throughout the game. That's one way to kind of try to tackle it.
Riley Lopez asked about Jalen Williams, RA. Jim, do you have thoughts on that?
I know that's one that we've been going to, or you guys have been going to a bunch.
Yeah.
I've been feeling you. I do like it. I think that's a decent run back there that at least I didn't see anything schematically, Matt, that you're more of the schematic side. Is there any reason to doubt that? I think it was a good angle. And if anything, the blowout maybe helped us keep it down for one game.
Yeah, I think probably that's the best way to go about it. I might play it. I have to kind of think about it. Catch the pregame show tomorrow at 6:30 for more on that. Antonio says, "Is Wolves plus 660 to win the series a bad number? It was plus 730 before game 3. So I've still got this minus 923 Thunder. So I know, Jim. I know, buddy. Joe, I want your thoughts on this one. Riley Lopez, Caruso steals over 1.5 plus 100.
I don't mind that. He's been getting into a lot of foul trouble lately, which has been a little weird. He's kind of like pushing the limits on how aggressive he can be, I feel. But I don't mind it. I think he missed it last game, so we're getting a decent number on it now. So if you want to grab it, he's somebody that is going to play minutes. Like he just.
Oh, sorry to take you off, Joe. I was just saying, to that point, that was one of the things that drove me nuts, and it ended up actually working out for the Knicks tonight. But Tibbs kind of like basically fouling out Deuce by benching a bench guard. Like Deuce McBride is not going to foul out of that game. Even if he had 4 fouls in the first quarter, I would have kept him out there. Now it ended up working out. They took him out, and then Landry was the best plus minus of the game because of the horseshoes that they had tonight. But that's just bad process. And I hope that Dagnall wouldn't. Caruso plays a few more minutes than Deuce, but like a guy like that off the bench, and I guess, and Caruso plays more physical is the other part of that too. But I would let Caruso stay out there through fouls. I think he's a veteran player who's going to be able to avoid those. So hopefully that doesn't eat into it too much. I think I like that look.
Jim, I've given you the devil's advocate, and Joe's tried to talk you off as well. And you're, I could tell like you're resolved. I want to see the ticket. I want to see the notification come up. Plus 550 on the Pacers to win the title. I want to see it.
Scary. I'm not that convinced because Knicks in 6.
Be bold. All right. That's going to do it for Buckets. Thanks for joining us. My thanks to David Payne, our producer, handling the audio side if you're listening. You can catch Buckets live 2:30 Eastern covering Knicks Pacers game 4. You can catch our pregame show at 6:15-ish over at youtube.com/the Action Network. My thanks to Jim Turby at Turby Bets for Roto Grinders, at Joe Dolera. If you're not listening, go subscribe to the Cash That podcast and check out Joe and all his analysis there. We'll be back tomorrow with more as the conference finals roll on. Until next time, let's get buckets.